Hello Internet, James Allen from Out of 8, and today I'm playing Space Colony Building Simulation Aven Colony. Game features 9 scenarios that you have to unlock in order, and it gets difficult pretty quickly, so I actually lost interest in completing them and actually played most of these in sandbox mode. Each of the scripted scenarios have a lot of objectives to fill along the way, which you should do in order to reach victory in each of the maps. It also uses the same 9 maps for sandbox mode, which is a little disappointing. This is probably my biggest complaint about the game, is it's pretty limited on content. Most of these maps beyond about the first 2 have some sort of problem with them, so you can't really make a large colony to build on. There's also no map editor, so you can't create your own maps either. So that really kind of restricts the replay value in the game, because you'll have to use the same strategy on the same map because the resources in that particular map are limited the same way every time you play. So it doesn't really have as much replay value as it should. I'm going to pick one of these earlier maps just because it's easier to deal with and I can show off more of what the game is about. When you do a sandbox mode, you can kind of tweak the things a little bit. I'll just leave them at the default. And we'll launch into our alien world of Venar. Build the colony as you see fit. Alright, so I'm going to pause it while I talk. So basically what you need to do, as with most management games of this ilk, is manage your colony by controlling the amount of resources. Resources in the game we have are food, water. Also need to worry about electricity, which is what I'll need to do first. And then nanites are used to build any structures that are present in the game. You also need to keep an eye on your storage capacity, your air quality, your population happiness, and other stuff like that. And there's actually quite a bit to do in the game, as you'll see as we continue. So first thing I'm going to do is build a power plant. Because there's a geothermal vent there, I will do that, because geothermal vents work anytime. The solar panels do less in the winter, and the wind turbines don't really do much at all. Much like in classic city building games where you have to connect everything with roads, here you have to connect them with tunnels, because the air on each of the planets is not breathable. So I'll do that. This little structure right here is a construction drone, and basically all you can do is build things within its radius. You can upgrade the construction zone to give it another drone for a cost of 12, which is what I'll do as soon as he's done over there building my geothermal generator. This is one of the objectives. There's a lot more in the scenarios, as I mentioned, that really actually help out building a successful colony. We'll see if I can do this without completely screwing myself over. Can accelerate time. There we go. So there goes my power level growing very significantly. And then he's going to go upgrade that, so I get 2 drones. Really quickly on, I need to worry about these nanites, so I need to build a mine over here on this copper. And now that I upgraded the construction drone thing, then I have 2. So construction happens twice as fast. And then after I get the mine up, I need to do a nanite processor, which turns the copper into nanites, which I will need to expand my base. And then the next things I need to worry about are food and water, but you definitely have to get this up first, or else you will run out of resources very quickly. You'll have these resource locations that are scattered around the map, but it can be very difficult to tell the difference between resource locations and just decorations on the map. Like here's another resource location way over there. If you click on it, it'll tell you. But again, is this a rock or is that a resource? And unless you play the game a lot, it can be difficult to tell, and this is actually a good area to expand to over here. So I will probably do so. Alright, so we're good with nanite, so we'll be able to grow that fairly efficiently. So let's do water next, because water resource locations are fairly picky. You want to pick an area that's dark blue. So I got 18 right there. And actually I'll probably just build around that, because I might do another water location here in the future if I need it. And I'll try to keep in mind to avoid that in the future. And then I also need to build a farm or two to produce food. And the problem with farms is they shut down in the winter unless you build a greenhouse, which can grow crops at 50% efficiency in the winter. So I might actually do one greenhouse and then a regular farm. And this just lost power because they haven't connected it. You have to connect everything to your base. So let me do a greenhouse with whatever the best crop is for this area, which is not many of them. I think it's melons, yeah. So I'll try to find an area. And it uses up a lot of space. So let's do the 8.1 melons per hour. And then we'll build a regular farm of a different type. You want to try to have a variety of food items available. And that's basically all my nanites. I gotta wait for it to grow. Each of your buildings are not necessarily fully staffed when they start out. It kind of redistributes it automatically based on what it thinks you need. And what you can do is you go on here and you can change the priority, which will bring the efficiency up and basically make it produce more resources. Game has a pretty good interface. It has these overlay modes, so it'll show air quality, all sorts of stuff where your resources are, which is pretty nifty when trying to find where things are located in your colony. How used your housing is, happiness ratings, all this other stuff. And then you also get a whole bunch of different tables and whatnot on here to keep an eye on what your colony is doing. It does take a couple clicks to get to, the one I probably use is this morale thing more often than not. It takes a couple clicks to get there, but there are hotkeys if you remember them. R goes to inventory and H goes to the morale for some reason. And then P goes to the policy thing. So you can pull them up pretty quickly, and the F keys are used for the overlays if you memorize what the hotkeys are. Alright, so let me build one more farm of a different crop. Let's see. Probably, let me do this corn. Alright, and then that'll basically, that'll do it. And I actually want to turn my greenhouse to high priority because I need food. And let me do this water pump so I actually get a positive. Well, actually, I don't even think it matters because I think, yeah, they're holding it at 22. Okay, so the basics are down. So we have a fairly decent thing going on right now. Alright, so next thing to do, you don't grow population on there, they have to immigrate. So you can build a immigration center, which will allow new colonists to come into your base. So that's going to be the next thing I build. And then I'm going to expand in this direction over here because these are some very good resources that I will want to collect eventually. So, while I wait for that, I need to accelerate time until I get enough nanites to build this immigration center. Each of your buildings, like I said before, can be upgraded. You just pay with a tier cost. Like this gives another farm tile. And that increases the food production. So I might do that after I get this immigration center in. Alright, so there's that. So let me pick a place for that. You do have to worry about the placement, making it efficient, the placement of your stuff. Yeah, man, that just used up most of my units. Because it does matter where you place things in the colony. Luckily, you can accelerate time. Here comes winter. Hopefully I'll have enough food for him. Oh, yeah, I should with the greenhouse. Okay, so there's that. So we'll build that so we can start getting some more people in here. I'll need more housing pretty quickly, and I think I'm going to build it. Actually, I'll probably build one housing over here for all these buildings, and then I'm going to start expanding over in this direction. I'm almost out of power, but I can upgrade my geothermal pump. And also, there's not very many workers in here anyway. So, once that happens too. So while that's going, this is kind of your morale thing. Food variety is marginal. Alright, so let's accelerate time while we wait for that. Okay, so now I'm going to start getting people at regular intervals. Another thing you can do is you can trade with other colonies. Basically, you just export items, usually for food, but sometimes for other resources, which is pretty nifty. And then once you build an expedition center, which is actually what I'm going to try to do so I can show that off, but that's way later on, is you'll be able to send out a ship onto a map. Basically just goes around and discovers stuff. Okay, so I'm going to start to get people in my colony pretty quickly. And I need some more power, so I'm going to change this to high priority, and we're going to upgrade with 12 nanites once we get that. I need more people. I just don't have enough people, is the problem, to run everything. So I'm going to get a vote here in a little bit. Oh, yeah, I need housing. Well, alright, we're going to have to do high priority here. We need construction stuff. The game is actually pretty challenging. It can be difficult to... I can just lower my food and pull these people back somewhere else. It's actually pretty challenging to kind of keep all of the plates spinning as you're running your colony. Just want 18. Keep waiting on this mine.
I think you're on track to win this
Okay, well that's good at least.
Here's the feedback I've compiled from the citizens.
Yeah, I bet you they need housing. Okay, there we go. Finally. Alright, so that'll solve that. And honestly, right now, I just need to wait for my buildings to get more populated. Because this is only 20%.
Your citizens seem happy with your performance, and I think you have a good chance to win this referendum.
Yeah, and as they come in, they'll fill in this. So you can see if it's half filled, it's half efficient. It's really the iron mine that's the issue. So overlay is pretty good. Depending on the map, you know, one map's a all winter map. So you have to import all your goods. So basically, you're exchanging mining resources for that. I always forget the Hotkeys. This is what I want: the housing filled. So overall, they're pretty happy though. And actually, that's pretty good. Well, especially because I turned this down a little. Let's bring it back up.
Congratulations on your referendum
thanks.
victory, boss.
Alright, well, this is probably my biggest issue is I don't have enough stuff. So let's upgrade this. That's going to be probably the most important thing to do. Alright. So, let's take a look at something else. So you have housing. Take a look at the structures. You have storage, which I'm getting up near my storage limit. I'm at 83% storage. You can also process materials and make chemicals, which you can then export for money. You have your immigration center, trading, the expedition thing, which I mentioned earlier, different types of power plants. The Zorium generator, you can extract Zorium for electricity, which is pretty interesting. You have your different drones. You have construction ones. You have scrubbers, which are needed once creep infections come in on some of the maps, and then also police to increase safety. You have a plasma turret, which will shoot down stuff that comes near your base, and a lightning tower, which you whenever lightning strikes, which can damage your colony, come in, it will actually convert them to electricity and store them in the batteries if you have space. Different farms, which I showed off, mines, and the nanite processors, water extraction, air management, which I haven't gotten to yet because my air quality is not terrible. You have different research centers, which you can actually research new items and synthesize things between alien crops and native crops. So these are inedible, but you can combine them to create things you can export or use on your colony. Like this enhancer dispensary will give out basically chemicals, stuff that'll make people happy, and basically a bunch of different structures you can do to increase happiness. Then usually at the end of the game, your goal is to, at least for the first couple scenarios, to build one of these huge structures at the end for ultimate victory. Alright, so our nanites are growing, which is good. I probably need to do storage first. So let me do a storage depot. Let me do this first. Now, is that outside of its range? I bet you it is. Oh no, it's actually probably just blocked. That's outside of its range. Alright, so let's build that, and then we'll do a storage depot right here. So basically now my problem is waiting on nanites to get in. Everything looks to be fairly decent. I need to get over to, or just build some power structures. Actually, might just do a solar panel and then a battery. So let me do a battery and then let me do a solar panel. How much is this? 22? Yeah, I know. I do need more housing. 32 for habitat. I do want to build a habitat down here. What? Accelerate time. Get more people in. Come on, there you go. And yeah, that was the end of my range. So I need to build another constructor guy. As I expand out. Should have enough food for everybody. Adequate. Probably need another farm, actually. That's my housing. Not too bad. That's full. Not surprising. Yeah, I probably need another farm. After the winter's over. I do want to expand over on this side, though. Kind of my goal is to show off trade and expeditions. As your thing gets bigger, you just plop down these little bars and parks and stuff. You don't have to worry about air quality here. 80% is not too bad, though. Yeah, I'm starting to get a pretty good amount of that. So you can do these air filters, which will improve the air quality. So you can mouse over here. It's not great over in this area, so I can build this here. And that'll improve the air quality. Alright, so let's do a farm. 30 nanites. I don't know. What are my two crops that I have? Melons and corn. Let's build something else. That's not terrible. We can do rice. There's actually some somewhat decent rice areas over here. It's actually one of here. But I do need a construction drone. So I will do that first. I'll just do a tier 1. There we go. Now I'll expand my range a little bit. Should have built it further over, but I kind of backed myself into a corner by placing all that stuff there. Alright, so let's get that farm down. 5.8. 6.4. I'll do that. There we go. Slowly expanding over this way. Should probably upgrade this actually. That's nice that you can upgrade existing structures so you don't have to rebuild everything all the time. Alright, so let's do... Is this in range of anything? Yes, it is. This is not, though. No. I want to get these things. That's what I really want. So actually, I'm going to expand over as far as I can. And I want to get, and I'm going to set up a second base over here. Now that my resources are very good now, actually, so I'm in good shape.
Your progress is satisfactory.
Oh, I'll take the immigrants. Oh, okay. Yeah. So expedition time basically is what they think. All right, so let's do construction drone right there.
We'd like you to expand your...
And let's mine some stuff, shall we? We need to build some housing over here first. I know this is going to be like right outside of the range, I'm sure. Yep, knew it. That's right. I'll build a fairly robust guy here in the middle. Alright, so geothermal. And we'll put a tier 2 guy over here. This will cover all this. There we go. Should be good. All my numbers look pretty good. Got plenty of food. Alright. Let's start mining stuff. I'm gonna put a tier 3 on this. Oh, there's my air quality problems. Knew that was going to happen eventually. Alright, where? Alright, so let's stick a thing near that. 26. That just happens once you expand enough. Alright, so we got enough. This. Might do another. Yeah, see, now they're got so much stuff. We can actually probably build another nanite processor over here. Now we'll really start taking the stuff in. Alright, so might even want to do another farm or a greenhouse.
Referendum elections.
Well, my food is like, it's good. It's because people keep coming in, is part of it. Alright, I do want to mine this stuff. Alright. Actually don't even need to generate that electricity from this yet. Might actually export it. Alright, so next thing I want to do is trade. If I can remember where that is. Spaceport. 36. It goes. Location doesn't really matter. Except for gotta place it near people so they can work there. Actually, probably should do another farm. Or a greenhouse.
Good news. Your citizens seem happy with your performance, and I think you have
Air
a strong
quality.
chance to win this referendum.
Basically by the mines. Okay, so trade is up. So, we can go to trade. It helps to remember what you have. I might have to trade this Zorium for something. Let's see. Copper, barley, broccoli, corn, melon. Yeah, none of that's really great. I need my nanites too. But basically you can do resources for food, or you can do food for other food to increase your food variety, which will make the morale go up. Might actually upgrade this. 30% air quality. Alright, so there's that. You know, all these structures just increase happiness. So the other one I want to build is the Expedition Center, because I want to show that off, which is unfortunately kind of expensive. So probably have to wait a little bit. Yeah, no, my trade hub's idle. What do I have? I have 367 corn and 359 rice. I might do corn for porridge, actually. That's fine. Oh my gosh, seriously. Yeah, actually our quality is pretty bad. Not really very many events on here, like toxic gas. On this particular map, there's more hostile stuff once you get further up. Food's good. Water needs to be up.
You're on track to win this referendum.
Okay, good.
But here's the feedback I've compiled from the citizens.
Upgrade. That might actually even be enough. So I want to have 22. Yeah, see the yeah, it's getting close. Because the farms use it too. 20 hour. That should be fine.
Well done. I'm pleased
I'll take the bread.
with progress of your
No, I'll take the nanites. Okay, so requires a research center. So need a research center. There's a research center. I'll take the nanites. You get rewards for doing still pretty bad over here. Put some more fans by our biggest defenders. There we go.
Here's your next population.
Okay, so oh, this is up, isn't it? Okay, so you can select different research. Most of these things use alien crops. So you need to build farms for alien crops if you want to do them, which I'm not really that interested in doing right now, but there you go. So I want to do the expedition center. I need 110. I need 80 power. So, which should actually happen in the winter. Once I get more people in here. Actually, I can upgrade this. And then I'll show off expeditions, and then we'll that'll be good. Alright, so that's up. Alright, 110. There it goes. There it goes. Food's fine. You can see this is probably one of the easier maps to deal with. Still locally? Okay, expeditions are ready. Alright, so what you can do, you can click on this. And you just click these places to go. And then press OK. And then they do it. And that's basically it. So that's expedition. So it's not, you know, super involved or anything. So we'll let them go do that. And let me see if there's a better trade deal. I do have a lot of melons. So let's export some melons. For something. Sure. Actually, I'll put a dispensary up. But I need 4 power. Alright. Well, these are fully upgraded. Except that I can go high priority for both. There we go. That really made a difference. Alright, let me see where my people are living. Yeah, I might actually put it right here in the middle between these two. There we go.
Congratulations on your referendum.
Yep, here come our creep spores. Alright, so you can do plasma turrets, which will shoot them. See if they shoot them before they get here. Nope, so they got infected. So you have to build a scrubber drone by here in order to deal with it, which is why you always need to save some, and he's just going to scrub it. Save some resources for a rainy day. Alright, so, yay. They did that automatically for me. Now they're just heading to the other one. So I didn't even have to, like, do anything with the expeditions. But, you know, it's something else to do. I don't want to shut that down. And they analyze the plant. Yay! Again, absolutely nothing to to actually do. But you get combinations for it. Yay! Just return the base. There you go. That's it. That's Aven Colony. I mean, that's pretty much everything that's in the game. I think it's pretty good. I think it strikes a really nice balance of difficulty, where it's just challenging enough, where you have to kind of monitor everything. You know, you have to keep an eye on your food and your water and your storage space, your oxygen quality, which I really improved by putting all these fans over here. Your happiness level, which has to do with a bunch of different aspects of your colony. You know, your power level, your resources used for building stuff, Has a lot of useful overlays, which you can access with the F keys or with the menu down here, that shows you exactly where your resources, your people, your jobs, and all that stuff is, where your water is coming from. Also different tables over here for all of the goods that are in your colony, all the different morale levels, and then you can click on the people and it'll tell you why they don't like you or why they do like you, which is pretty interesting. You can trade, so you can get rid of excess goods for things that you don't have. You have the expeditions, which are kind of dumb. You just click on the things on the map and then your ship automatically goes out. But it gives you some extra resources and whatnot, so whatever. A lot of different structures to do. You have your housing, storage, and resource processing. You can grow different things and make it here. You research the different alien chemicals combinations in your research center, and then you can produce them in the chemical plant. People come in through the immigration center. I like how you can trade excess goods, and then expeditions is just something else to build once you're near the end of your thing. And then all the other structures you have to do and worry about, like the spores coming in and the toxic gas and stuff like that. And then making sure you have enough power and food for the winter, keeping an eye on your air quality, and then keeping happiness up by building these structures here. So overall, there's a lot of things to keep track of, which is good, but it's also not overwhelming. And I would say that really the only low point of the game is simply the number of scenarios it has. It only has 9, and it doesn't have any random maps. So once you play in sandbox mode, it's basically the same as playing the scenario because the map is set up the same way, so you have the same sort of overall concerns that you had before. But overall, it is definitely a game that I would recommend if you like managing a space colony. That's all I have for today. Till next time, bye now.